Hi everyone, Diana Rankin here with your soul messages, your psychic soul messages, and maybe a prediction or two, we'll see, for November the 19th to the 25th. Yeah, gosh, I want to tell you this is going to be a terrific week, and it's not. But we're going to make it a terrific week in our own private worlds. And as we make it a good week in our own private worlds, that's what we push out into the world. But it doesn't happen immediately. And if you think about every thought that you have, you don't want some of those thoughts to manifest immediately. So it's like that in the energy in the world. It may take a few weeks. Sometimes it takes thousands of years to manifest, but usually it manifests within a relatively short time because of the energy that we are currently in. I'm going to use a pendulum to kind of show you what I'm talking about. Now, I'm holding my hand as absolutely, let me get it a little bit closer here so you can see it. I'm holding my hand. It may not be absolutely still, but it's as still as I could possibly hold my hand in that position. And the pendulum's going to just swing on its own. And what happens is as a pendulum swing, as the energy builds, the pendulum swings more radically and erratically. And you see, again, the pendulum wants to move my hand. And my hand, if you imagine, this is who we are. This is our world. But then when the energy slows down, the pendulum, all on its own, slows down. So what happens, and the way I'm using a pendulum, and if you want to learn how to use a pendulum, by the way, I do have a video that you can go, and it's how to use a pendulum. So just go look that up. So what's happening here? Well, the energy, the world is moderate. The world is in the center, which is where most of us live. But then the energy starts building on both the left and the right side. And as it builds, you see what the pendulum's doing? It's swinging, and it's swinging erratically, but it's swinging strongly to the left and strongly to the right, and it's not making any center. It's not stopping in the center at all until the energy slows down. And as soon as the energy slows down, so does the pendulum. I use that to show you that's what's going on in our world right now. The pendulum is swinging very far to the left and very far to the right, which leaves that whole middle not there. But if you notice it, as the pendulum swings, this is as life swings very erratically one side and then to the other, as the energy of those two forces calm down, everything comes back to the middle. It's not yet time for that. I think we will see that. I think we're going to see more of that, but it's going to be months from now. But we are seeing more and more people join left or right. So there's more division, certainly in the U.S. It's very pronounced here, but I don't think it's only here. It's not around the world at this point. But here in the U.S., it's very strong left or very strong right, with the middle being forgotten. And the U.S., what's happening in the U.S. is the U.S. is showing its shadow side, showing its dark side, showing its wound, showing its sickness in order that it can heal. And it's just like our bodies. Our bodies do that too. If we ignore an illness, it festers and may even eventually take our bodies from us, and we die. But if we have an illness, if we have a cut finger, we want to do something about it because it's unpleasant. But we have to look at that cut finger and acknowledge the finger's cut, and maybe put some salve on it, but also, again, let it heal. Not just like this, but heal like this. So our sicknesses in the country, our sicknesses in the world have to heal the same way. Between now and December, between now and the whole month of December, there are like 29 sacred holidays, including the ancient mythologies, excuse me, all up to modern time. There are like 29 sacred holidays in December. The far right would have us all believe there's only one, or one that counts. And that leaves out an awful lot of people to say that the only thing we celebrate in December is the birth of Jesus. It's not. We celebrate a lot. And I hope we will all celebrate peace and celebrate hearing one another. You know, by the way, I love your comments. Thank you so much, especially for the loving ones. The nasty ones, and yeah, I do get nasty comments. They're few. They're very few. Of course, I have a delete button, and I don't have to allow angry people to have a say on my YouTube channel or any of my social media. But I do, unless it has to be pretty nasty. And the reason I say that is you are allowed to disagree with me. I will tell you the name calling, it doesn't say anything about me. It says everything about you. I don't take your comments personally. So when you're angry and you're calling another person a name, it tells me something about your intelligence. It tells me something about why are you wasting your time watching something that you think is wrong and silly and wrong. I don't have a better word for it. At the same time, I have two things. One, I always want to bless that person and send them love, because their comments aren't about me. They're about them. And so if somebody is that angry to make a social media comment that is calling somebody a name, that person needs a lot of love. So let's just all send them love. The other thing is it gives me an opportunity to look at any anger in me and what do I want to do about that? What do I want to do when somebody shouts in anger at me? I don't want to shout back. Am I going to hold you accountable? Absolutely. I hold you accountable for your words, for your deeds. Unconditional love does not mean the absence of boundaries. Unconditional love means we love you unconditionally, but it's your spirit that we're loving, and we hope that that infuses itself into the human being. For the person who said this is just a bunch of 1960s babble, you bet. Because back in the 1960s, and I remember the 1960s, back in the 1960s we kept saying, zap them with love. Well, I'm still zapping y'all with love because I believe it works. And I believe it is the only thing in the end that does work. Anger doesn't work. Besides, it's no fun to run around angry all the time. It's much more fun to be joyful. I know a few of you have been concerned about the weather, so I want to say I am seeing some tectonic plates do this and quake a little bit in California, also in Asia, along the Chinese border and North Korea, South Korea, along those borders, and there, Japan, like in the mountain area, and we're around some water. And California, that San Andreas fault is doing this, but I don't see at this particular point this week, I'm not seeing a major quake. I'm seeing more minor, but I lived in California in the 70s and 80s, and the San Andreas fault was predicted to go the big one every week. And so I do tend to probably not get too nervous about that. And I do say, if any of us if our souls say, I will be there, then we will be there. If our souls say, get out, we won't be there. It's about listening to our intuition. It's about listening to our inner voice. It's about living from the joy of the soul, that deeper spirit part of us, and then letting that infuse into the human. So thank you for all being here with me today. Any other predictions I want to make? You've heard me say it. Yeah, I do think that in the U.S., there will be a major downfall of this current administration. You've heard me say that. I think what's going to bring it about, I think this is what's really interesting to me, is to watch all of this, to observe all this. Because what's going to bring about the downfall of this current administration, what's going to get this current president out of office, is the sex scandals, the sexual harassment scandals. And they've been out there. They have been out there since well before he was running for president, but certainly they all came out while he was running for president. And they, this man said, I could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and no one would care. Okay, that said, now we are seeing more and more women coming forward and accusing men, rightfully so, because it's not just one accuser, or there are photographs or videos to back up what the women are saying. And so it's on both sides of the aisle. Al Frankel just got it on the Democratic side, and certainly Roy Moore on the Republican side. But this is nothing that our president hasn't done. And so what's going to get the uproar, the people against him, and create the uproar, even though money laundering will be the legal excuse, or the legal reason, it's not an excuse. Money laundering will be the legal reason. The public reason will be the sex scandals, and they're coming. I mean, there's a video going around where this man sexualized his 1-year-old daughter, and certainly there are plenty of videos that have been going around where he sexualized his adult daughter. So it is the feminine rising, and this is what's going to take him down. But we need the legalities of the Russian connections. We need the legalities of the money laundering. And now it's coming out with connections with both Ivanka and with her father. It's coming out with mob connections with in South America. So this is the time. It's all going to come out. And we're going to see, I don't think it's going to all happen before the first of the year. But again, we're going to have these major clashes between now and through December. And then after the first of the year, I think we're going to start January, probably not into February. But some will come before the holidays. But the big ones, I think, will be after the holidays, with the exception of Jared. Jared's just awfully close to being, I think he will be indicted. Anyway, here we go. This is the Master's Book of Answers by Philip. For those of you who come back, you know this is an oracle book, and each page has a different wisdom on it. And we just say left page, right page, and we flip through to see where our finger lands to get an answer, a wisdom. For those of you who are new, I welcome you. I thank you for coming. And please do feel free to comment below. So let's see where we go, shall we? Left page, right page. What do you think? There we go. I'm thinking right page. And I'll read the left one too, but the right one is our message. From each person you meet, you have something to give and something to receive. From each person you meet, you have something to give and something to receive. Think about that, my friends. What is it you want to give the other? And what do you want to receive from the other? Because there's always an exchange. Do you want to give the other anger, fear, unkindness? Or do you want to give the other compassion, love, kindness? What kind of an individual world are you creating? Because the world around us is created by each of us. My world is pretty peaceful. there's a sweetness about it. For all of those of you who wished me and happy birthday last week, thank you so much. And for those of you who sent gifts and cards and wow, flowers and donations, thank you. I am deeply, deeply grateful. And that's my world. It's one of love. It's one of kindness. It's one of compassion. And hopefully that will help create the larger world. But you don't have to create that world. That isn't what you have to receive. You're allowed to be angry and mean and name-calling. That's what life is if you want it to be. I don't. And I don't think underneath it all you do either. Listen to my other viewers who will tell you life is good. Life is fun. Life is beautiful. Because we make it so. Because every day we get up and we say, this is a good day. I'm going to make it even better. And on the left side, it says, beauty is all around you. To see it, look. We forget that. We're so busy looking at what's wrong that we forget to look at what's right. Create your own individual world. Fill it with family, with loved ones, with four-legged loved ones as well as two-legged loved ones. Fill it with beautiful flowers. Fill it with truth. There's nothing namby-pamby about that, my friends. And for those naysayers, that's their world. Let yours be one of love. Thank you for being with me this week. Thank you for filling your life with as much love as you can. That doesn't negate our pain, but it means that we live in that deeper joy that's underneath all of that that's on the surface. That means that our human selves pull in that love from spirit, and that's what helps us get through the rough times. We can't do this alone. Don't even try. I love you. Thank you for being with me. Until we meet again, I love you, my friends.